Low. All right. Welcome back to a slightly twisted female. I am your host, Brittany Rue. Is anybody still with me? I don't know. Let's check. I just spent like the last hour trying to figure out why this piece of dog shit microphone is not working. And I don't know why. Because I bought a brand new one and it is apparent. It's not working. Oh, good. Yay. I don't know why. All right. Let's see who's in here with me. If you guys are in here, say hello. All right, we got 7 people. Hello, So Paul, Rhiannon, E4 Mafia, Samantha, etc., the Cognitive Dissonant, Kayla Carpenter, and the Login. Hello, folks. Sony Teprano. Oh, yay. Cool. I missed you guys. I can't believe that you're still here. You guys are the best. Jessica Tully, hello, hello. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I just really haven't been able to, I feel like, get the nerve to do it for a few reasons. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I bought this wonderful, lovely, expensive new microphone that for some reason is not working. So we're using the crappy built-in microphone. Not as good, but okay, good. Glad you guys can hear me. That's great. It's kind of late, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it now. I've been like wanting to do it now. I'm gonna do it now. Let's just do it now. So for those who don't know, I went through, thank you, Attila Simon says, missed you, first time ever writing into the chat. Well, welcome to the chat, and I'm glad to have you. And, it's like, sometimes when I think about coming back, I think about like just the annoying, the infighting, the bickering, the like me being derailed, me being blackballed by people that I've helped, whose platforms that I help build, how my ideas get ripped off and I don't get credit and I get, the jealousy, the people trying to like shut me out of things and I don't, that part doesn't even bother me as much. It's like, but then the prying into my personal life, the attacks from people who I thought that were my friends. I learned now I don't, well, that's not true, right? So I did leave this experience with some really great friends, right? Jennifer Thomas is one of the best friends that I've ever found in my life, and outside of what you guys might think of anything about her ideas politically or anything, she's really been I'm just really grateful for her. Connie Hahn, a few other people from this movement that I'm grateful for. And then there's people that like I just want to just delete from my mind like an eternal sunshine of spotless mind. But you guys, when I think about, sometimes I'll come back and I'll like just check in on like, what people are saying or comments or whatever. And like, sometimes it's just like stunning how vicious and insane some of the comments are, especially like trying to attack me personally over, over the loss that I went through. And it just like, but it's like, it's so absurd because it's like, it like doesn't bother it bothers me in the sense that it's stressful and it's like it's so frustrating because it's like I came here to do work, right? I came here to do work that I felt was important, as a mother, as a woman, as an American citizen. I felt this was an issue that was our country was facing, that I felt like was being, just severely mishandled on pretty much every level of society, from the schools, systemically, from government, local government, all the way up to, the presidency, with sports and prisons and things that affect real people in real time. And I was like, this matters. And for some reason, we're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to say anything online. And for those who remember, there was a time where you could. Now the speech is a little bit more lax on social media. And I want to give us a round of applause because that's because of us, all of you, all of the other content creators, all the people in this fight. We have officially succeeded in breaking this thing into the mainstream consciousness. You have to understand this was not something that was able to be talked about. It was taboo. It was underground. You couldn't say it out loud. It was like people try not to even think those thoughts because they felt impure. If they're like, oh, no, of course, trans women are women. Because we have been so conditioned to just believe that, only the most heinous of people would question such a fundamental fact. So I do want to give it to all of us, everybody in this fight, from every strata of this thing. Collectively, we did it. We pushed this thing into the mainstream consciousness. It is now being talked about everywhere, right? It's now being talked about in the media. We see it on the news. We see podcasters debating it. I go on Instagram and I go on these kind of like trashy blogs and stuff like that, and these hood blogs. Now people are able to say, no, that's a dude. What do you mean she? Guys, hello, that's a sir. Regular people now are calling it out. And I saw a post on Instagram where it was something about saying that President Trump, something with his proposed trans policy that would obviously be more restrictive and rolling back these sort of fake allowances that we had given trans identifying people. And underneath you almost saw across the board bipartisan, everybody's like, I might not like Trump, but I agree with this. And everybody's like, it's about time, thank God. And I feel like what happened, it was people sat there and they tried so hard to condition themselves into telling themselves that they believed that trans women were really women, that this was a legitimate thing and doing the right thing because it really was the emperor's new clothes. People were like, oh my God, I must be the only person who can see it. I don't want to say that out loud. I don't want to be the bigot. And then you just kind of go through the motions. And then when finally you hear someone else saying it, somebody else oh, thank God, now I can say it. And some reverberate further and further out. When I started this channel, we could not speak about this issue on social media. This wasn't being talked about in legacy media. You couldn't bring it up in schools for debate. You would get shut down. You would get put out. You would get fired. You would get unenrolled. So I do want to say congratulations to every single person in every part of this who's been a part of this fight, no matter how big or small, whether it's just putting a like on a YouTube video or sharing an article or challenging somebody in your own life, showing up to a protest, donating a couple of dollars, every brick by brick that all of us came together and put together, we have now pierced this thing into the mainstream. This is now being talked about in ways that was not happening several years ago. So I want to say I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of everybody who was a part of this, who kept going, who stood up. This was a really critical, pivotal moment in history that we were a part of, guys. We were at the sort of the beginning of really challenging this thing. Now these conversations are happening. And it's on the one hand, I want to be all right, great. Great. See you guys later. Because really one of the main reasons I even wanted to start this channel is because I was really mad that my little crappy, I had this little shitty Instagram, political Instagram. Oh my God. It was called A Slightly Twisted American. I was I'm going to get on there and I'm going to tell them what I think about things. I'm getting real tired of some of the things that's going on. I feel like I should share my voice. I can get me a little, little Instagram. And I had 3,000 followers. And I was this is pretty great. I'm getting a big following going. Bro. And then so fucking like, right? And I was like, and I'm like, put it on professional mode. I got it all set up, and I like put on some links and I was like, all right, I'm going to start doing this thing. And I'm like scheduling my posts and whatever. And then I posted about Hunter Biden's laptop and my stuff bottomed out. After that, I made one post challenging some trans ideology, and I was getting ripped apart, and I was getting blocked and shadow banned and barred from everything. I couldn't speak about it, and I was mad because I had built this little 3,000 people following on my little Instagram, and that belonged to me, and that was supposed to be my platform and my place to speak my view about things that are affecting my country, my world, my family, my people, my life. And I was under the impression that I was in the freest country in the world, the bastion of free speech. But I'm not allowed to say that a man in a bad wig who wants to play kickball with my 5 and 6-year-old daughters is not really a woman. I'm not allowed, as a woman, I'm not allowed to say that. Like, bro, what? Bro, what? So then I was like, no, fuck this shit. And, and I started to see, there was like 2 or 3 YouTubers at the time that were like, I don't know how I discovered it. I don't even know. But I was like, wow, there's some women out there that are talking about this. And I started just binge watching it. And I was like, you fucking right. I'm going to put my voice on there too. And I don't care if they want to shadow ban me. That's cool. I've been used to being like shut down and the only person who holds a certain opinion against a wall of people who disagree with me, but who I know are wrong. I've done it before. I can do it again. And this was at a time where nobody was able to really speak about this stuff. We were getting, the hashtag for radfem was banned off of Instagram. People were losing platforms. They were losing opportunities to market and to network. So I want to say congratulations. I want to say that I feel like we've made a lot of progress. But now we're at, like, as I said, as I kind of predicted, the next crossroads, unfortunately. The conversation is no longer whether or not are trans women real women. It's whether or not is trans and transgenderism, is it a real thing, right? Is there a true trans? Is there somebody that really does have this special, like, lady brain? The female brain? So now it's going to get more complicated. Because like I said before, these people are not just going to like give up their investment and everything that they've put into pushing this ideology. And like I said, they're not going to be like, oh, jig is up. You guys got me. All right, we'll just shut this whole thing down. No, there's too much money to be made, okay? There's too much money to be made. So, yeah. So anyway, as you guys probably recognize, I've been gone for a while. And, I had just a really, really, really just kind of like, just like a really earth-shattering thing for me. And it's like, I know people are trying to like come at me and attack me in whichever angle they think they can get an edge in. That is one topic you're never going to win. I know what it was between Hakeem and I. I know what happened and why he died. Nobody on the internet is going to tell me why that man died. Nobody on the internet is going to tell me about my relationship with that man. Like, and I like, you guys must not really know a whole fucking lot about me if you think that I'm so insecure that like people trying to I don't fucking know, like rewrite the story and poke at things that they think are gonna hurt me. You don't know me well enough to hurt me. I promise you. Okay? There's not one person on the internet who is listening, who is watching, who knows enough about me or my life to say anything that's going to hurt my feelings. Because you don't know me better than I know myself. And again, at the end of the day, I can shut this all off and step away, and this is just poof. It's not there. It's not real. Right? The internet stuff to me is not real. My real life exists out here. The only people that can hurt me are the people that I love. And and be it because I let them down. The only people with the power to hurt me are the people that I love. With that being said, coming back and seeing these like ridiculous, God, just ridiculous like fantasies about what happened with Hakeem and why he died in some like desperate attempt to try to like hit me where it hurts. It's just, to me, it's so like tasteless and classless and so low vibrational, and it's like this is not, I wanted this to be like an intellectual space with other people who were fighting in a higher like level, and I don't want to get down and interact with like this level of like base and whatever. I can just block people, but I also just wasn't ready. Like I just, it was like frustrating to come back and to see like stupid comments and stuff, but that's really not even, that stuff doesn't fucking, you know, it's like, it's the type of thing, like, there are certain losses that have the power to like change, to just change you, to change everything about the way you see the world and how you relate to other people and your value system. I mean, it's one of those things, like it's like a core memory. It's like a something happens, you've crossed a threshold that you can never uncross. And it changes you in an instant, in such a profound and total way. And the only thing that I could really compare it to that would, the only thing that I think that it's really even second to is motherhood, is crossing the threshold into motherhood. At no other moment, from one moment to the next, are you so profoundly different in two spaces right next to each other. From the moment before you had that baby, and the moment you pushed that baby out and that baby laid on your chest for the first time. That is the only time that I can think where you're in between two worlds, where you cross this threshold and you come out the other side so intrinsically changed, so completely changed. And I think second to that, and I mean, there's other things, right? But for me, losing this person, do you see now? Why it's taken me to this point to even sit down here. You guys can guess and imagine and fantasize and gossip and assume and paint and recreate and imagine what my connection was like with this other human being. But the only two people who know are us. And one half of that is gone. And it just feels like half of myself is gone. And it's a scary feeling. It can be really scary. It can be like what do I do now when the person that was my greatest source of measuring against the world, that was my confidant, that was the person that I could run to and ask what to do next, or what he thought, or where to go, or bounce ideas off of, is not there. Or when the keeper of so many of your secrets, the witness of so many intense moments in your life that will never happen again, but who change the core of who you are. Somebody who walked through certain chapters of your life that will never happen again, but that are essential to understanding why you are the way that you are and who you are fundamentally. It's really disorienting. And it's a little bit scary. And I feel a little less safe in the world. I feel a little less protected. I feel like I lost one of the few people who really understood me. On a level that allowed me to feel like, I don't know. And I do. God. So since that happened, I had to take a step back from everything online. And I realized that I had to live more in the world for a while. And I needed to attend to my world for a while. Because I think a lot of things can get distorted when we spend too much time online. And when we stop interacting with each other. Or we stop interacting with the people around us as much. and we start spending more time with people inside of a box that we're not even really sure if they exist. Everyone that we interact with could just be a bot. We don't know that these are real people. But you know who I do know is real? The two teen boys sleeping upstairs in their beds, or the two little girls down the hall from them. Or the 17-year-old boy who just lost his big brother, who was my best friend, who is also a son and a nephew and a big cousin. And a friend, and a really good friend. A really good friend to a lot of people. In May, about 3 days after it happened, I went to his janasa in West Philadelphia with his family and friends and people that loved him a lot. And it was really surreal. It's really surreal. It's really surreal to see somebody that you used to like hold, and that you could put your hands on their face or hold their hands or feel their warmth and know that they exist, and then to see that person lying in a pine box, wrapped in linens, and cold to the touch. And it's like you looking at their face and it's them, but they're not there. And they say that, like, oh God, hold on, why the fuck would I wear eye makeup? Like, that makes sense, Britt. Hold on. Give me a second. It's just like weird too how like people have kind of like made it as if it's like I'm trying to get like clout or something, or by like claiming that I like I have to like somehow prove that this is really somebody that I really actually did love, and who really actually did love me. Daryl loved me, guys. That man loved me, and I loved him. That's not in question. trying to like convince me that like we didn't love each other, that we didn't care for each other, that we like you guys are like gonna like like I'm gonna be like, oh, maybe you were right. Like, bro, like, hello, what? You're so welcome for even like letting anybody into this story that is about my life. What kind of fucking clout can I get from being with some like non-famous guy from like West Philadelphia? What the fuck are you guys talking about? The fuck are you talking about? Maybe it's because some of you are so like mind blown that like some people actually like have real relationships with other people and don't like live downstairs in the basement like on the phone all day. Yes, we were present for each other. Yes, he was my friend. Yes, it was complicated. It's like people want to like try to like figure out like what are like the fucking parameters of my relationship with him. All that matters is that we loved each other. And like whatever form that takes, who gives a fuck? He knew me and I knew him. This is my best friend in the world. This is a person I could call at any time of the day and would pull up. And I would pull up and who like I bared my soul to. That was never going to change. And it's just like that kind of stuff frustrates me because I'm just not in a place to even like navigate that stuff right now. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, leave me. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Fuck is wrong with y'all? And I'm not talking, like, I'm no, like, I hope it's obvious that I'm not, like, talking to you guys in the chat. But, like, I'm talking, you know what I mean? Like, the fucking weirdo shit, like, comments, like, bro, get the fuck up off my channel. Like, leave me alone. Like I said, and I don't even care because, like, don't leave me alone, too, at the same time. Because I get it. I dish shit out. I dish shit out. That's all good. Like, that part's all good, for real. Because I step on people's necks. I'm not, like, playing with some people. I've hurt people's feelings. Oh, God, hold on. Let me deal with this dog for a second. Max, please. Max, my love. My love. Alright, I'm gonna have to get up again in like a second. He's like freaking out over the deer in the lawn. I mean, but the thing is, like, it doesn't matter at the fucking same time because, like, who I don't have to explain anything to are, like, the people in my life and the people in my family, the people in his family, who, like, hold me in such, like, and I hold them in such a precious regard, and they hold me in a precious regard. Like, his family's not playing about me, guys. Why? Because I was his best friend. Because I loved him. Because he loved me. Because like, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. We would have had each other's backs. This is why I couldn't do this. And then it's like also like I stopped caring about stuff. I got to the point where like I don't want to bicker with people. I don't want to fight with people. I don't want to go back and forth with people right now. It's like about like what? What the fuck are we even talking about? Like, yeah, the trans shit. Okay, great. It's bullshit, But it's like all the like, God, like just the Twitter. I don't. For those of you who like predominate Twitter, like God bless you because that to me, Twitter makes me want to die. Twitter makes it like I don't know how anybody like doesn't want to blow their brains out like after a while like on Twitter. But like, no, like Godspeed. Some of you guys are great at it. Some of you guys are good with like the spaces and whatever the fuck else, the like retweeting and stuff. And like Godspeed. Godspeed. But it makes me want to die. You know what I mean? We're all different. I'm sure some people feel that way about you too. But I was like, I don't. And then I would go back and I would see, like, I would like, oh, like, let's see what's going on. Maybe I can eke my way back. And it'd always be some, like, idiot shit about, like, fucking, oh, God, please. I don't even want to say their names because I don't want to accidentally, like, conjure them back into my life. But just people from the past. Like, or fucking what, like, and I'm like, and it's like, I feel like I don't even know them anymore. I don't even care anymore. I don't give a fuck about these, like, people from the internet. Like, this stuff. It doesn't matter. What matter when I think about this, what we did, honestly, you know what I think about? I think about you guys. I think about like the people in the chat that like have like made good contributions to the conversation. I think about a couple of like the guests that I've had, like Carol, I think about Jennifer Thomas, who became a really good friend of me. Jen took care of me a lot. So like for everybody who's like giving her a hard time on like Twitter or fucking whatever, And I know, Jen can be a little bit, I understand. Trust me, I understand. But Jen's a good person, and she's a good person, and she really had my back a lot. What the fuck is my hair tie? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just like a mess. This is why I didn't want to do this. But I do. I mean, I gotta get back into it. I knew that I was gonna just have to get through this stream eventually so that I never have to do it again. Hold on. Give me one more second. Hold on. I'm pausing it. I'm gonna pause it so it's not like, God, it's been a while since I used OBS. I'm like trying to set this up in the beginning. I'm like, shit, I don't even remember how this thing works anymore. Like, what the fuck am I supposed? Hold on, wait. How do I pause it? Damn it. Stop streaming, I think. I'm pausing it. I'll be right back. Alright. Not bad. Let's see. Vaginoplasty on a 77-year-old. Oh, God. Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to ask you. I'm going to be like, so, like, what's been going on? Like, oh, God, it's, like, hot. Hold on. Fucking one more second. Guys, it's been a while. You're going to have to understand. It's been a while. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. All right. So what has been going on though? Like when I say I've been out of the loop, like I have no idea what's going on. The only way that I keep getting like roped back into this is because somebody is like trying to take this offline and create other issues in my life. But I don't even think I want to discuss that because like I said, I just think it's like it'll just draw the energy of these people back in, and I just want to like sever it all together. But yeah, so what's been going on? So all right, so hold on, let's go. So I feel like one interesting way to kind of like check in the state of things, let's see what the Google search results will give us, because that'll give us like a sense of like what, like when you just type in something like transgender, right? This is what I did when I was like setting up, because I was like, what am I going to have us look at? I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go into Google and I'm going to put in transgender in the search query, and let's just see, because if you had put transgender in the search query 4 or 8 years ago, right? what sort of results do you think we would have gotten back then? Now, what kind of results are we getting now, and how would those be different? What do we think and why? I'm sure a lot of us can answer why and all that, but it's like, so I think it's interesting. Dog. Oh God. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. It's so insane. And I'm like, I refuse to water. And I realize I'm like, a lot of stuff is being done. I'm going to say one last thing. And then we'll get into some other shit. A lot is being done to provoke me. And I think one thing that I realized coming through this thing with Hakeem, Daryl and Hakeem are the same person. Some of you seem to really be struggling with that core component. He was born Hakeem, and at age 5 had his name changed to Daryl. So half of his family knows him as Hakeem. The other half of his family knows him as Daryl. The ones that know him as Daryl are like mostly his dad's side. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I interchangeably call him both. Call him like Daddy. I call him Daryl when I'm talking to him, but I kind of refer to him, I've noticed, as Hakeem when I'm talking to other people about him. I'm not sure why. I feel like, because then like Daryl is my own like special like, version of him, that you like other people don't get. I don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah, when I talk about Daryl and when I talk about Hakeem, I am talking about the same person. Okay. Some people were like real up in arms about that. They're like, well, who is this other guy? It's like, all right. Some like slight context cues could have probably like helped you out with that conclusion, but that's okay. All right, so let's take a look at what else. So, all right, let's see. Ty Rivera Jody says, or Jody E4. Oh no, you're responding to E4 Mafia. Jody says, Ty Rivera still calling disgusting Lily her and she. I was so angry. Who's Lily? Thank you, Rihanna. Yeah, online and God. Yeah, the way like some people came at me and like, listen, and I understand that I am very harsh with my critiques, right? A lot of people would be like, oh, but you come for people all the time. But yes, if you go through my live streams though, I don't really attack people on like below the belt type things. Like, yeah, I kind of do, but like if it's like mostly like relevant and there's like a reason to, I won't just like randomly find somebody I don't like and like dig up some like horrible, like, personal tragedy and just be like, dunk on them about it, because I'm like, no, like, if I say like, for example, like when I was talking about, what's the girl who was in the middle of the whole fucking Phil Illy gate thing, the AGP gate, whatever, Laura Becker, and everybody got mad at me because I was like, Laura, with all due respect, should we be like listening to your judgment on things when your judgment is what 2 years ago told you to cut your tits off? And everybody was like, that was just so out of line. How could you ever say anything like that? And I was like, well, hold on though. But okay, I hear you that like it probably hurts her feelings because she actually did do that. But like, am I wrong that her judgment and critical thinking skills, as recently as seemingly like 2, 3, or up to 5 years ago, which is not that long, like, you know what I mean, was telling her to like cut her breasts off, and now like she's like the spokesperson for like sanity and like reason and measure and like moderate So, you know, I was kind of like, I'm not real sure that this is the fun. And everybody's like, slightly twisted females, like the biggest, worst person in the world. Yeah, so it's like, and then everybody's like, yeah, it's fair game that we all shit on, you know, her dead boyfriend and make up these weird stories and stuff. Cause like, that, fuck that bitch. And it's like, okay, well, like, I'm not sure that they're like totally the same thing, guys. You know, but like fucking whatever. Anyway, so I'm just like, all right, I get it. I get that there is like a cadre of people that will always believe that like I'm fair game to attack on like any level, whether it's like my nephew, I came in the rad fems. I had some lunatic rad fem, the Twasm lady, that kept like bringing up my nephew who had just passed away a year and a half ago because he had drowned, who at 3 years old, that was the most soul crushing thing to have happened in my life. That is the worst tragedy of my life. You know, losing Hakeem could never compare. Losing any adult in my life would never compare to losing one of these babies. Take any of us. Have your pick. Take any one of us. You know, we'll be sad and it'll suck, but leave these babies alone. You know? And it's like when you don't even have that choice or you can't even bargain that. And it was somehow because I said that the makeup critical feminism was like lame and like that radical feminism was like kind of dumb in some ways. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck your dead nephew. I'm like, bro, okay, slow down. Slow down. Like, you know, but like luckily again, nobody who is not somebody I love has the power to hurt my feelings. The only people who can hurt my feelings are the people that like I care about. The type of person, like anybody who like I would sit and feel guilt over like letting down, that person can hurt my feelings. Not some fucking rando, you know, from like Discord. Like, you feel me though? Oh my god. Yay, Greek yogurt! We stand Greek. Greek yogurt has been like a real solid follower. He's like cool and like easygoing and like I thank you. Always been supportive. And you're not like overly partisan with like ideas in general, and I like that. And he's nice. He's the best. Okay. So Paul says, I lost my nephew too. I'm so sorry. I'm still struggling and I don't know why this happens to kids. People don't understand that like in some families, losing your nephew is really like losing your own child. There really would be not a whole lot different had I carried that child myself. You understand? So it's like that baby. I can't. My God, please do not let me go down that emotional pathway right now because I'm hanging on by a thread as it is. That was horrible. Fucking anyway. God. So, oh, here we go. Yeah, I know. Then that's another thing. They're all like, yeah, like she's this big drug, like they're basically saying like she's a big pothead drug addict, you know, she's smoking like dope. It's like the type of people that will call it dope, like marijuana dope, or like the people who are like, yeah, she's like probably drunk right now. Like, why? Because it's like midnight and I've been crying. They're like, yeah, look at her eyes are real glazed over. Like, yeah, fucking obviously. And like, who cares that I'm smoking weed? I am a 36-year-old adult homeowner. You know what I mean? Like taxpayer, like guys, hello. Anyway. All right, so what the fuck are we going to talk about? What do we want to look at? Somebody give me something. I don't even give a shit, whatever it is. We'll just free ball it. What do we want to pull up? Is there anything like funny to look? Please, like nothing too complicated. It's something that we can just kind of like, who's got something? Hurry up. Hurry up, guys. I know you got something. Yolanda says, I love calling them internet random. Because that's what they are. We don't even know if they're real. I know that Yolanda's real. I can vouch that Yolanda is a real person. Right? Why? Because we've met and hung out together and smoked pot together. And she's cool. And we've done protests together. You know, people are like, yeah, Brit tries to make friends. What else did somebody say? They were like, what did they say? They were like, this one was said recently to me, but I've heard it before, so I'm sure she's like regurgitating it. They're like, yeah, Brit tries to make friends in the movement, just to have it fall apart so she can have content. You guys think I like making videos about these fucking weird bitches? Like, are you kidding me? No, I don't. I don't enjoy this at all. Sometimes I feel like I must say something to keep the like narrative that's already going on out there from like spiraling too far out of control without my side of the story. I hate talking about it. Sometimes it's funny, not gonna lie. Sometimes, a little bit. But do I engineer this stuff in person? Like these fucking weird conspiracy theories? Like, no, obviously not. We plan in, but you gotta understand there's a boots on the ground element too. We don't just sit, from our computers all day and like only do computer work. No, we do like boots on the ground. We'll go to like Harrisburg and, speak in front of fucking the Senate or whoever, and like the media. And we'll, go to DC. We've done Trenton. We've done Pittsburgh. We've done New York City, Times Square. We've done a lot of, Philadelphia near the Liberty Bell. We have done a lot of protests and boots on the ground work. Being as that is that we are, not being paid. We're not like paid actors. It costs money. There's logistics. There's travel fees. There's traveling. There's lodging. And, I thought I was like, oh, yeah, great. These are some like other content creators and people that I've been interacting with for a long time. We've met in person. Like, hey, don't worry about, whatever. Like, or I think it was like excellent. God, don't let me say it. People asking to like, stay, meet up. And yeah, you make friends after a while. And everyone's acting like, oh, she falls out with all the, no, I don't. Most of the people I'm still, Yolanda is one of them. Yolanda in the chat is somebody that I've done a lot of work with and have like, basically lived with for a weekend in, an Airbnb and stuff. And like, me and Yolanda are fine, right? And like we could keep doing work together. Most people I'm still fine with. There's some people that I probably wouldn't want to hang out with because maybe they're just either a little bit annoying or like, just not compatible or something like that. You know what I mean? Or just fucking whatever. That's not, we're not there to make friends, but it's great when friends can happen. Jennifer Thomas is now one of like my best friends. Like Jen Thomas will like be given permission to like visit me by my deathbed. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like Jen, like I love Jen. Jen is now like family. Like she spends like quality time with my like family. You know what I mean? And I love her for that. And I'm grateful. And I think I let my guard down thinking that it was just, everybody was like friendly and kind and giving to each other because Jen's that way and I'm pretty much that way. We both have resources. We're adults and we like to have this mutualism where, you help me and I help you. I think you realize that not everybody's like capable of functioning at that level, right? I'm not singling anybody out. There's multiple people that just were like, nah, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe we'll just, you know what? Forget it. We can leave it at that. I'm actually fine with that. If that means I never have to argue with any of you guys ever again or hear from anybody ever again or interact with it, you know what? You got it. Like, where can I sign on the dotted line? Like, correct, right? I just don't care anymore. I would like to just not fucking, what were we even talking about? Anyway. So like that's a big part of why like I didn't want to come back. But then also, and then I kind of went through a phase where it's like, what else is there to say? Troons are weird and like no trans women are not women. Like, are you kidding? LOL, right? You know what I mean? All right, any more questions? AGP's a thing. Go look it up, And I do have like 350 videos and like some of them are like 3-hour live streams. And then other ones are like, ones that I tried to make as informational as possible. And I felt like I did my part. I think I did my part. But then I think about you guys. And I'm like, damn, I liked all the people. I liked the people in the chat. They were pretty cool. Like, you guys were cool to like kick it with. And it's fun to like sit and like go through the video. And like you guys are talking. And like I feel like we're in our own little room or something. And that part's cool. It's all the like other weirdo shit that's like not cool. And it's like, leave me alone. And I get it. Listen, I've gone after people and I get it. I'm not saying that I don't expect and anticipate a certain level of of just like totally, like unrelenting, like, or not unrelenting, but like totally uncapped attack on me, right? That's part of it. I'm built for that, for real. Like, I have a thick skin. Is it eternally thick? No. Everybody's capable of getting their feelings hurt at some point. But I do have a pretty strong sense of self, and I have a strong, family network and friend network. And, I'm happy with the resources that I've built in my life. And I believe that my children are thriving. And I'm pretty happy overall, despite these horrible losses that I face. So it's like, you know, I can handle most things that are like thrown at me, but when I'm like feeling vulnerable and I miss somebody, then like I don't want to deal with it, and it's sad. But anyway, all right, what are you guys talking about? But now is going to be interesting. Federal government, okay, Yolanda is saying, now is going to be interesting. Federal government is coming down on this shit, but states have already changed laws. The battle has only just begun. Oh, so the federal government, are they trying to stop it from being like a whole exodus? See, that's how you know that this is like engineered. That's how you know that there really is an agenda. It's so obvious that there's an agenda with this. And I'm not even like really a big like conspiracy theory type person where I'm like everything is like Illuminati or like whatever the fuck. But this is so obvious at this point. This was not organic. Nobody like wanted this naturally. Nobody like agrees with this. This doesn't even make sense. This was pushed onto us. It was forced down our throats. And then you just kind of get like in these loops where you just, after you accept one lie and you learn that like your eyes deceive you, you almost start gaslighting yourself after a while. You do the work. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. I've appreciated the more mother-centric feminism on this channel. I appreciate that. That's what I felt like the feminist discourse was lacking. That was another hard one to kind of get the conversation going on. I got a lot. Motherhood is actually the number one topic I've gotten the most pushback on this channel. No other topic that I undertake at all, side topic, main topic, literally anything, have I gotten more emotionally charged and almost like aggressive pushback from. Like the attacks on my nephew and stuff came from a lot of that, right? Me saying that mothers matter, me saying that motherhood is not like an enslaved thing, that like, to care for the mother baby is to really care for the earth, because that's the origin of humanity. You know what I mean? Why would we not nourish the literal cradle from which all humankind springs? And no, the answer is not to just like be anti-natalist. Like, I get people making that individual like, choice, but that does not mean that we abandon the vast majority of women who will go on to be mothers. We've got to work together. I've always said that I believe that women who like powerfully choose to not have children are such a critical part of the whole ecosystem of like raising up the world together. You know what I mean? Like, women manifest that in so many different ways. So like fucking whatever. But yeah, that was one that I got a lot of pushback on. And that was and some of the attacks are like, they're upsetting, because you're just like, bro, what? Like, and some of it was like degrading, kind of like sometimes the way that they talk about women who have had babies is like dehumanizing. And I'm saying these are like women who like claim to be like, like feministly minded and stuff. And I'm like, how could you talk about women like that when you're always talking about, how are we going to sit here and say like, don't objectify women or see women as literal objects, when like you're literally talking about them in such like just terms that are so divorced from their humanity or who they are as human beings. Like, it was just whatever. So yeah, that's kind of why I went down that rabbit hole. And it matters to me. And I come from that perspective. I come from a perspective that reveres the mother. You know what I mean? The midwifery community, like the mother baby is like the most sacred thing. Like, we are all in service to that. Even as mothers, we are in service to other mothers. That's how like the only way that we will like get through is to create. And I saw that as a very woman-centered. Women were doing like really like kind of like, historically feminine crafting and sharing these like female based, knowledge that had been stripped from us from these patriarchal programming and experiences within the technocratic medical model. In the 1930s, within 10 years, we went from being 100, like 99.9% of women birthing at home to, I don't know, within 5 years, it went up to like 97% of all Americans were birthing in the hospital. Or it was like up to like 90, and then the last 10% within the next 5 years. So like the shift happened so dramatically from when Americans were on farms giving birth at home to suddenly now we're giving birth at doctors. And what's terrifying about that, men took over. They were arresting midwives en masse, saying that they were dirty, they were practicing medicine without a license, they had no business. Basically now saying that birth is a medical event rather than a natural physiological female process, right? Just a process that is meant to happen, that is designed to happen, to now being a medical event that requires being, a hospital with around the clock care that are predominated by who? Men. Why? Because in the 1930s, were women studying medicine? Were they allowed to, were they really allowed to do anything? But now here's where I understand, because were they allowed to do anything but be mothers? No. That's at a point, and like I understand. See, I understand that perspective because we were at a time where our only option was to be a mother, was to be home. And you didn't even get to choose when that was or how that was or really who that was with. Yeah, you could choose, but we all know not really. It's like your parents, whoever they approve of, right? So I get that. We have to understand that we're fighting the same fight though. Our rights were ripped from us in the 1930s. Our ability to govern our bodies. Women have been handcuffed to the bed, shackled to the bed, basically by court order, under threat of arrest, with a police officer standing at the door to make sure that she didn't leave because she tried to refuse a medical intervention during her labor and delivery process. And the doctor said no. She tried to go against medical advice. He said no. They will go and get a rapid court order. And they were shackling women to the bed to give birth. Women had no autonomy over their babies, over their bodies. Men were experimenting on the bodies of pregnant women. The scopolamine era, the Twilight era, where they were giving women a drug that was literally causing them to practically crawl out of their skin. That's when they decided that husbands could no longer be in the labor and delivery ward. Women were sent there by themselves. They were strapped to beds with leather cuffs. They were strapped to bed with leather straps so that they couldn't move. After they were dosed with scopolamine, they would basically, it was like an amnesia medicine. It would make them just not know anything. These women had no family members watching over them, nobody back there with them, and they were being basically put in this twilight sleep that was making them lose their minds for a day and a half. They were crawling up the walls, and then they just wheeled the mom back to her with her baby. She doesn't even remember giving birth to her own baby. This was routine care because as a way to basically saying so that it doesn't hurt. We're built for that. We're built for that pain. Women can handle pain. We can do hard things. That shit is nothing. It's nothing. And they terrify us so that we're so terrified of pain and discomfort that we panic, we freeze. And I understand you're given these messages your entire life that it is the worst pain in the world, or there's nothing worse than childbirth, and their body's gonna rip open, and oh my God, you look good for a mother. I wouldn't want that to happen to my vagina. All of these horror stories that you're told, they used to experiment on the bodies of women. Pregnant women. We've gone through some really heinous eras of childbirth from the time childbirth shifted from being in the home in agricultural America to the shift where all of a sudden now everybody was leaving farms to factories. It was about the exact same time that we moved from being an agricultural economy to now being like a factory and industry-based economy. And then we saw childbirth basically being pulled out of the home and put into hospitals, and go from being overseen by women, community women, the grandmothers, the friends, the mothers, the women that had raised a generation of women in that community, been a part of that, understood how birth worked, to now like men had taken over for generations. I am not saying that there is not a place for surgical and obstetrical birth. That's not what this is about. Okay? The cesarean section is the reason why now we don't have to have childbirth in terror of losing our lives. Cesarean birth saves lives. We don't need to do it as much as we do. We don't need to do it nearly a fraction as much as we do. We are hurting women. All of that being said, I feel like it is a very feminist issue because men took childbirth away from us as women to make decisions about, to now they're overseeing our body. I mean, who the fuck wants to go to these like hospitals and like wear whatever like disgusting gown that they bring up to you from that some 1,400 other people wore? Maybe somebody like died in it, who knows? Ew. And then like plug you up with a bunch of stuff and like stick you and then you're in there and you're trying to meditate and you're trying to talk to your body and talk to your baby and be this like one symbiotic, honestly, like sacred creature that you are. And you gotta stop moving. The monitor keeps moving. I know, honey, but you're gonna have to try to stay still. Okay, yeah, breathe now. What did you say your birthday was? Confirm the last four of your social. Who was your first kiss? Who was the third dick you ever sucked? Like shit that you're like, bro, leave me alone. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Let me have my baby and like have my moment. Whatever. So I say all that to say, I am not saying that's, I don't want to get into that argument either, right? Because I've seen some gorgeous hospital births and I've been to some gorgeous hospital births and I have been with some nurses that you could tell that would literally like lay part of themselves down to like protect a mother baby, right? I've seen some nurses stay past their shifts. I've seen some nurses go so far and above and beyond for the women that they serve, because that was a bond, that was a covenant between two women. When women see each other and they understand that need, and it goes further than training and it goes deeper than qualifications or certifications, and it's two women who see each other and one who's vulnerable and one who has the strength to hold the space and create a shield for that woman. And you see you see powerful things go down in a birthing room. You see powerful moments. All I'm saying is that women should have the right to choose. These are our babies. These are our bodies. When we give so much of our rights away in the name of, we're so terrified that everybody else is so dumb, that they're not smart enough to carry the baby that they grew in their bodies, that they've been carrying at a cellular level since they were a fetus, safely into the world. If we treat women like they are not trustworthy of carrying their own babies into the world, like what do these men say when they talk about babies that they oversaw the birth of? I delivered her baby for her, and the mom's like, yes, he did. He delivered all of my babies. No. That man has never delivered a baby a day in his life. I don't care if he's been to 5,000 births. That man did not deliver your baby. didn't deliver your second baby or your third or that lady's baby, or he's not going to deliver the baby of the mother who he's about to see right now, because men don't deliver babies. Mothers do. Mothers deliver babies. You know, I've had someone try to say that, like, I delivered their baby. I was like, no, I didn't. I delivered my babies. That was your body who did that. That was your ancestors who came inside of you and moved through you to help you through that. It's not me, that's you. You know? Yeah. And I miss that too. And I think that's another thing that, like, when death and this sort of stuff happens and you kind of look back on your life and you realize, like, I miss a lot of people and I miss a lot of things, and my God, my God, I'm glad I had that chance to be there at that time in that moment, because it'll never happen again. The same way the moments that happened with this movement and the things that we did will never happen again. We've changed. We've opened a box that can never be closed again. It's a Pandora's box. We've let something out into the world that can never be recalled. We did that. We pushed these ideas into the mainstream. And that's the same thing when I think back to these other profound moments in my life and people that I miss and things that I've seen and moments that I've been a part of. And sometimes I miss it so bad. And then I just realized I'm just grateful that it happened. I'm really, really like, my God, thank you. And I guess my only regrets are not holding it closer. You know, I remember I was like talking to somebody in recovery one time, and they were like, you know, in recovery, gratitude is a big part. And they say that as long as you practice, and gratitude is a practice. That's not just like, it's not just a static thought. It's a practice. You have to practice being grateful. You have to practice looking at your partner. You have to practice looking at the man laying next to you and seeing, like, just really how precious and beautiful this moment is. To have somebody that God made, that you know, or that you get to be a part of somebody's birth, or that you get to be a part of your own birth and watch your own baby's stories start in this profound, this rush. My God. And they grow, and these kids grow, and they keep growing, and it doesn't go backwards, and time doesn't go back. And I just feel like in the past, however many months it's been at this point since I lost my good friend, since I lost my friend, I don't want to take stuff for granted anymore. And I know that's so cliche, God, and maybe there's a reason for that. Because I know I'm not the only one who's walked through this door before. But we all walk, God, in our own way, and each of our own story is ours, and they're all a little bit different. I'm literally looking at a whiteboard right in front of me that has his handwriting on it still. And it's been there since 2019, and I never erased it. And it's surreal to think, like, in this exact space, in this exact spot he stood, he used to sit at this desk so many times. He was, like, real bad at the internet. Hack was like, cause he was like in the streets and stuff when he was young. He was like in the world as a kid. He wasn't like home on the computer. So he'd be like, babe. He always sat here with a blunt. You know what I mean? And like, he was a little bit of a pothead. But he was like a productive one. He would like go work out. And he'd be in here and he'd be like, typing on the thing. He'd be like doing one of these. He'd be like, and like looking real close. I think he needed glasses and just like didn't know it. I was like, I think we probably got to take you to the like optometrist because like you be squinting hard as shit at that screen. And he would just be like, babe. He's like, all right. He used to wake me up. I would be sleeping. I mean, it wouldn't be like that late, but like I'm a real early bird sometimes, especially with the kids. And like he was there when the kids were little. And so sometimes I'd fall asleep like putting them to bed, and I'd be like, it's fine, just I'm gonna go lay down, but like do whatever you want, whatever. And then he would like come back up. He would be like, Brit, and I'm like, oh my god, what, what? Because I would like be like sleeping, and I'm like, oh my god, like, are you okay? But can you come downstairs real quick? I want to show you something. I was like, yeah, okay. And like I remember like the first few times I like thought like it must be like kind of important. Like at all. And he'd be like, all right, and then he would like come sit down right here, and he'd like put the other chair, make me sit on this other like higher chair that doesn't roll. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, I'm like in my pajamas. I'm like kind of like half like totally a mess. And he'd sit there and like finger peck. He would be like, and I would get real frustrated because it was like, people who were like bad at the internet. Like, do you ever like watch them try to put watch them try to do like a Google search, and you like, that's just like the terms that they use, and you're just like, please God, like there's a much more efficient way to write this. Can I do it for you? Like, can I do it? You're like trying not to be rude. But like you can tell they're like kind of just dumb, but like but he's not dumb, just bad or fucking whatever. But he was like that. He would be and he types like slow as shit because he like doesn't like whatever. He'd be like Hal space, and he'd be like or no, he'd be like, all right, what, make and model. And then he'd be like, hold on, Britt, hold on. And he'd be like, looking at something, and he'd be like, hold on, it's the T Honda. And I'd be like, oh my God, please, what do you, and I'd be like, babe, what did you want to search? Can I do it for you? Because like, I love you so much, but like, you're real, like, not that great. And we'd be, the thing I loved about him is like he could laugh at himself so much. Like he's like he would not get offended by like, I could like make fun of him a little bit, and like, we would like be laughing. And he made fun of me too. And we both had a thick skin, you know what I mean? Because like I think we like essentially like ourselves. Like I'm not perfect. There's things I'd change about myself. There's things I'm probably insecure about or like get down about. But like overall, like I like myself. I think I'm pretty cool. You know what I mean? And like I like being me. Yeah, there's other people who like me too, and that's great. That's pretty cool too. And it's like, fucking God. What was I even talking about? The fucking search query. Yeah. So whatever. Like, what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, because it's crazy. I'm looking at this thing that he wrote, and the fact that like he stood here at one point. He sat here at one point. He sat in his chair that I'm sitting in. He sat right here, and I've had video calls with him on this computer, and oh God. And you're like, I could reach back and touch you. Like, you're not far from me. You're so close. Like, why can't you just come back? And I went through this like delusional thing. I drank a little bit of mushroom tea one night, and then I was like, wait, how do we know he's really dead? And I was like, maybe like there is, so like, what if, like, I don't know, like, how do we not know for sure? Like, I'll bet you anything some people have come back to life, but they just don't want you to know that. I'm like, like telling myself all this like weird shit. Just because it's like your mind just starts to wander, because it's like death is so hard. It's so hard to wrap your mind around. You're like, what do you mean you're not? And then I just think about like, I don't know. I miss my friend. I miss my friend a whole lot, and I loved him a whole lot. And I don't care what people like thought about I don't know. I don't care. Like, everybody who, like, what am I telling you? Everybody who knows us loved us. We were fighting at the end, is the problem. But everybody who knows us loved us. People like being around us because we were mad funny together too. Yeah, he's funny as shit. He's worse than me. Like all this shit that like he's worse than me, and he doesn't shut the fuck up. But he's funny. Like you can just sit and listen to you. It used to make me. Oh my god, this boy used to make me laugh a lot, and it's hard to really make me laugh. I mean, some people like Jen can make me laugh a little bit, but he really used to make me laugh a lot. And I really miss him. This is why, but like, guys, you gotta understand, this is why I couldn't come back and do this with you guys, because I knew that this is what it was gonna be. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to sit here and talk about it. And you keep thinking, like, aren't you supposed to feel better? Like, my god, by now, shouldn't you kind of, like, have your mind, like, wrapped around it? Like, you're never gonna, like, totally not be sad, but it's like, I can't even talk about it. And I really miss him a lot. And I feel like, and I know he loves me, and I know that, like, if he's, like, anywhere or whatever, I don't know. I know he, like, just, he misses me, too. And I don't care what people thought about him. Or, like, you know, how he came to be, like, who he was, or things that he went through, things that he did, or whatever. Like, I don't, you know, nobody thought he was a bad guy. He was, like, a real, oh, God, it's just sad. It's just really sad, you guys. And I really miss him. It's like, I can't talk about it. Like, this is the best I can do. Because trust me, like, I get worse. Like, I was, like, wailing when I heard about it. And I was really fucked up when I saw him in the casket in that box. And I was, oh my god, I touched the body. Yo, I bet he'd be like, you fucking nut ass bitch. Yeah. Oh my god. I like touched the body. So like, as you might recall from what I mentioned earlier, like it was a janasa, right? It was a janasa because he was like Muslim, but like he, you know, like no, like he was, whoever's watching this, like a very legitimate Muslim, but like kind of like a like a Philly, like you know, like the Philly like Muslims, but like him especially, and like there are some like Philly Muslims that are like really legit, you know, and like do follow and like take it seriously or whatever. And then there's like some that kind of like in and out, like wear like the hat and like say things, but like they don't like, you know, whatever, you know. But like he was like, no, he was a pretty like good follower, and he was like, whatever, fucking, what's my point? Oh yeah, okay. So anyway. He was like Muslim, but like also like we did Christmas and everything. It doesn't matter. And like, and I asked him, I was like, so I remember a long time ago, I was like, you know, like is like Islam something that like I should like consider like learning more about? Or he was like, no, absolutely not for you. I don't. He's like, I just, for me, yes, I'll like read some stuff for you to Quran, but he's like, I just don't think it's that great for women. It's not like what I would want my woman to be like. Basically, like having to live under, you know. He goes, I go because, yeah, as a man it's like different, but I just wouldn't want you to like, no. I was like, all right, I got you. He used to read me, well, there was actually a lot of really beautiful verses in the Quran about like marriage that I think are really beautiful, you know, and he would read that kind of stuff to me, and I used to like it. Um, damn it. God damn it. So, so I touched the body, right? It's so it's not fucked up. He wouldn't give, trust me, he would not give a shit that I did this. That's why I was like, bro, anybody who's mad, like, he does not care. Uh, so I went in. So you got to understand, a janazah is a Muslim funeral. And we went to one like in the hood, like in West Philadelphia, right? So it's like, these are like, people get so mad when I say in the hood. Bro, shut up. It's in the hood. Like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, so whatever. And so there's this janaz, but again, you got to understand, Islam has a big presence in Philadelphia. Whenever you see, especially like there's a lot of like black Muslims, and it's like whenever you see like a lot of the American black Muslims, I mean, that's like not correct to say that they're from Philadelphia. It's like, I don't know how to fucking explain it. There's like a certain, like you can start to identify like who's from Philly based on like certain things. And like even people who aren't Muslim are like have like say certain saying like is like Islamic sayings and stuff like that. Like wallahi, and like, you know what I mean? It's like, God, it's hard to explain. And like I feel like anything I ever say about anything is like someone's gonna call me racist, and it's like everyone just like shut up. Sometimes you have to like explain stuff. But like anyway, so fucking so I like, you go, I mean, and a lot of the women, like a lot of his family, he has like half like Christian family, and then he's got like a lot of like Muslim family. And that's how it is in Philly. Like a lot of families can be mixed, right? You have families that like some are Christian, like some are Muslim, and like people can take it seriously and whatever. So like it coexists in a lot of ways, and like friends and stuff like that. So like, and like, and plus it's like, it's a lot of, even like a lot of the younger like men, there's like a lot of like the younger men, and like a lot of the like street dudes. Like I'm not like a lot of the street like dudes who are in the street are like, practicing Muslims and stuff like that. But then there's also a lot of like Christians, but like, you feel me? So like, all right. So it was very formal, and it was very simple and beautiful, and like almost just like really like powerful. Like it was just somber and like serene, and you could feel like the weight and the power as everybody like gathered outside. And like we don't do any of that like, more like hippie dippy, like something that you would do for like a kid's funeral or something, where it's like everybody wear like bright colors, like we're celebrating. Like no, 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 like this is very formal. Like everybody's wearing like black. You understand? And like, we have a lot of women in like the full like niqab and like, hijab and whatever, I forget what the like the full body one is. Stuff like that. I'm wearing all black. I did wear color though. And I wore all black everything, and I wore like this necklace that he had given me, but I wore these like all pink Air Force Ones that were the last pair of shoes he ever bought me. One thing that Daryl used to love to do for me was like buy me sneakers. Like he like, oh, I miss him. And he used to like clean them with like a toothbrush all the time. I was like, oh, he's like, you don't clean. He's like, you're so like white. I was like, why? He's like, your sneakers are like dingy. And I was like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that's correct. So like he used to take care of them. Oh God. So anyway, so I went in, and I like I didn't know this, and I told his friend Lena, his tattoo artist, and I know she's like not happy with me, but her and I were talking a lot. She's like living down like Nola, and she wasn't gonna be there. But when I saw him, I had such a reaction. I saw him. That was my baby. That was my baby. That was my best friend laying in a box, and I knew that he had bullet wounds all over his body. wrapped in linen, and that's his face. That's his face. Mm. That's his face. Like his face that I used to kiss, I used to hold, I used to talk to, I used to smile at. And it's so surreal, my fucking god. That shit is surreal. It's spooky. And I lost it. Yeah, I was not ready for that. I wasn't ready to see him. And I grabbed his face because that's what I always did in person. I used to always take his face like in my hands, you know what I mean? And I would like talk to him or like kiss him, like, you know what I mean? That was like something I always did with him. I don't know why. So I did that again. That's just what I'm like. I kept telling him, I was like, Dad, I'm sorry. God, I was like, I'm just fucking sorry this happened. I'm sorry that we were fighting. I'm sorry that, like, whatever, anything I have, like, God damn it. I just kept telling him, I'm so sorry. I was like, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that this happened, Daddy. I'm so sorry. And God fucking damn it. So I'm like fucking halfway in the goddamn box, bro. By then I'm like probably making a scene a little bit, and I was like, Daddy, I'm sorry, because I'm holding him. This is the last time I'm gonna get to hold him. This is the last time I'm gonna get to hold this boy. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I was really like this man's de facto wife, like for real. Like I'm the closest thing that this man really had to a wife ever in his life, for real. So I was like, I wish somebody would fucking say something. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I know nobody would. Because the only people who would say something are people who are not family. And they would have to defer to family and family. And there's not one person in that man's family who's going to tell me to like, you know, I mean, there is like maybe like one or two like of his like uncles or something that like don't really like me or like something like, you know, but like no one, like they know that like I'm really hurt. And they know, and like and I'm just thinking, I'm like, but I didn't know. Okay, so but also I didn't know. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to touch him because I didn't know that was like a thing, right? Like nobody like added that in the fucking, you know, little like flyer for the funeral where it's like, hey, by the way, like it's like a thing in Islam, like don't touch the body. It's like a big deal. They like, bro, I probably would have done it anyway, but like I was like, oh my fucking god. And I noticed that like, because I noticed that there were some people that were like, oh, and I was like, oh, and like I kind of realized that like somebody was looking at me like horrified, and I was like, am I like doing something wrong? But I was like, at the same time, I really don't give a fuck because I love him and this is my baby and I'm never going to see him again. So like, you know, but then later I asked somebody and I forget, who did I fucking tell? I don't know. I called Lena and I was like, oh my fucking god. I was like, Lena, I touched him. She was like, oh my god, you did not. I was like, I didn't know. I don't care. I would have done it. I really would have done it anyway. Like that part is true. And I got to I kissed his whole face up. Oh, I kissed his whole face up. God. See, I know, okay, I gotta stop because there's people who are gonna like attack me with this stuff probably. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I never want to have to. One thing I decide is I don't ever want to have to like pretend like I didn't love him or like hide him or hide how I cared about him. And if that means that people are going to like make fun of me or use it to like attack me somehow, that's fine. Because I think the bigger tragedy would be to somehow live like he didn't exist. And to not like get to experience these memories again, and not just experience these memories again, but like share him with the world. I don't want him to not exist anymore. I want him to be able to tell stories about him and remember him and think about him. And I don't want him to not be here anymore. I don't want him to I don't want the memories to like fade. That's like my biggest fear too. And I keep finding oh my God. I have like a whole archive. We used to take when he was locked up. I used to record a lot of our phone calls because I used to like listening back to them because he used to like give me so many like words of affirmation and he like spoke to me in like such like a positive and like kind way that like it was nice to be able to like hear him back. And now that I like have this archive of all of his phone calls, I'm like, God, thank God. Thank God. And actually they've been like good for the family too. I've been trying to like go through them, and sometimes like he used to just tell me stories about his life, and sometimes I would just let him talk, and I used to love listening to him talk because like he was a beautiful storyteller. And he was really intelligent. And he was funny and he was really nice. And I just loved him. I loved him a whole lot. I liked hearing from him. And I loved him in like such a way that it's like it's everything. I loved him like my lover. I loved him like my best friend. I loved him like a brother. Like I loved him like just this beautiful person in the world that I found that God brought me, that showed up in my life. And I still like it's like you still don't really know how. But it's like when I saw him and I felt like I knew him already. And I've like always like wondered or like fucking whatever. It's like if you see somebody and you kind of have that like immediate connection to them. I knew I saw within an hour. I was like, oh, he's gonna be a problem. Like this man's about to be a problem in my life. Because I knew I knew I just loved being around him like right away. And God. You don't know how these people show up in your life. There's this beautiful boy in the world, just some beautiful boy that just got to. She's not perfect. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't. But my life is better that I got to be with him and just to have someone I could talk to. And honestly, if I never get that again, that's okay. Like, because there's a lot of people that will never get to have something like that with another human being. And God let me like have it and taste it and experience it and know. And it's like that's why my faith and like love will always exist. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know I was gonna meet this beautiful boy in the world and that he was just gonna be this like just beautiful presence. And he challenged me and I grew a lot and I'm different because of him, and a lot of who I am now is because of him. You can see him in me because he left an impact on me. And I know, oh God. And I know people are like, it's like the sharks in the water can like smell the blood. People see that I'm weak and they're like, now's the time. That's really what it was. It was like, it's literally, it's so sick. As soon as this happened and I went offline for a while, that was the time that like a few people thought like it was the time to like come at me the hardest because they knew that I was like weak and incapacitated, that I really wasn't there to defend myself. That I didn't really know what was going on. And it's like that says so much more about you than it could ever say about me. What did I ever like really do? What, make a YouTube channel? They had like a couple. I haven't even met. I don't have 10,000 subscribers, guys. I don't have. You know what I mean? And like talk about some things that I thought were important, and like don't get it twisted. I know for a fact that I've influenced people who are like much bigger than I am. I know that my ideas have proliferated out. That just looking at like the number of my subscribers does not really tell the whole story, of the impact and whatever else. But you feel at the same fucking time, it's like people really are like act like they're so out to destroy you, and like they like hate you sometimes. It's like, bro, for fucking what? For what? Because I like, what did I like, make fun of your favorite troon? Or what did I like, say something about you? Just log off, right? If it's like that hurtful, log off if you can't. I have standards about like how I'll go with people. I mean, yeah, with Brianna Ivy, probably not. I'm not gonna. Ty Rivera, probably, but see, the thing is, how I like handle men is always a lot different than how I handle women. And it's like, I also realized my biggest mistake was just trying to like even talk to anybody. I don't need to make friends. I don't need to network with people. All the boots on the ground shit is done with. No, I'm just not going to interact with anybody. You know what I mean? People can talk about me all they want. It's when I let people in, when I try to like make friends. You gotta understand, I'm a friendly person. Hakeem and I were like popular, right? Popular in the sense that we had a lot of friends. We used to go see friends all the time, have people over, like go visit people, go do stuff. We're social people. We like being around other people. We have good social skills. We're not, you know what I mean? We're kind of like whatever, you know? And it's like, so people are acting like, oh, she's like trying to make friends to have some like crazy, like she's gonna like, come up with a storyline for her like YouTube channel, my YouTube channel that's like what, like 9,000 fucking followers, bro, that I'm like talking about something completely, like, no, not really. And also, who cares about this? It's like me fighting with some like deranged, like older lady from out like Florida, and then like in some like autistic, like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is not interesting. Trust me, I know that it's not. But like, no, Tyra Bear. And listen, it's good for people to be mean to me once in a while. It humbles me, you know? It humbles me. If I'm getting a little too out of hand, it's fine. People can fucking nip me. It's when some people get so relentless and psychotic. It's not what people say one time. What bothers me and what scares me is how obsessed a few people will really get. It's the offhand comments, the reaching. I can spar with anybody. It's when people start going really crazy and they start trying to like dox you, or they start trying to like, they just get obsessed. They'll like, every move you make, then they like respond to it, and they like surveillance you almost, and like are constantly waiting to pick a fight with you, and you're like, bro, get the fuck away from me. And then you try to make an example, and I'm like, you respond just to get them to back the fuck off. But the problem is, if you ignore them, they just keep coming and coming and coming, and some of the stuff, and then they'll like make stuff that like you have to respond to, because otherwise it's just going to proliferate. And you're like, no, you got to kind of like nip this shit in the bud so it doesn't just keep, you know what I mean? And then it's like, then that's what they want. And then they're like, it's like, God, it's like, I just got to realize that I can't even like criticizing like any of these like lower level people. I got to just stick to like critiquing like Troons in the Wild or whatever, stuff like that. It's just when people latch on and get, or just like talk about something else entirely, because I feel like we said what we needed to say. I just feel like this topic's so easy for me. I think is probably why I like it. I just feel like it's such a slammed. It's so easy to like, yeah, because it's so obvious. And it's fun to dissect, Some of the other stuff is like too complicated, like relationships. If I had like a channel in like relationships, or like even like the childbirth thing, because the whole childbirth thing can get vicious too, right? Because then like it's the whole like natural birth versus oh God, all of that stuff is like psychotic. What time is it? Oh my God, it's 1:16. Damn, it's all right, I gotta go. I gotta go. Thank you, Oatmeal Cookie. I really appreciate that. Britt, I can't fathom how important your GC content is. No one does it like you do. Thank you. That like really means a lot to me, because sometimes I'm like, bro, why did I do all of this? What was the point? Did I make an impact? Does anyone care? Did I like I used to come and do live streams. Like, I know people are gonna like screenshot me. They're like, look how disheveled and like disgusting she was, and like, on drugs, and like, but like, no, I'm just ugly right now, and I'm tired, and my face is wrinkled, and my birthday's in a little bit, and it's like, sometimes I'm really like, it's like, I did all this work and I really cared about this. I did. I really cared about this. I cared about the community. Okay, cared about the fucking, like, trying to understand different types of people from different walks of life, and having grace, and trying to, like, learn to communicate with it. And then it's like, after a while, I'm like, well, what am I doing? Nobody cares, A. And it's like, I've got like a handful of like really, really, it's, you guys in the chat are like the only like redeeming factor. You guys are like the only good thing. Like that's a fact. You guys really are like the like number one like rewarding thing about doing this. Otherwise, it's like a thankless hell job. You know what I mean? And but then it's like, at the same time, it's been, I've been able to like explore topic more deeply. I learn with you guys. Half the time we're learning together, We're just on the stream and we're going through stuff and we're watching the videos. The majority of the time, not the majority, 99.9% of the time, when we watch videos or look at content on here, it's new to me too. You know what I mean? So I feel like you guys have been with me through this journey of like learning about this, and like trying to figure out what to do to combat it, and strategizing and thinking about it and educating ourselves. We can do that. It's beautiful when you realize you can educate yourself. You have the tools that you need to build the wisdom and the armor for stuff. And like we do, like, for me too, it's cool. And we did that, and that's awesome. It just sucks when like you get blackballed by like some people who like you were very supportive of, but then it's like you're unpopular for like a little bit because maybe you did like a live stream where you like clown somebody who like everybody's friends with, and like now everybody doesn't like you, and you're just like, all right, like I feel you, but like at the same time, I understand like kind of falling back, but like you can't say that I'm like wrong, and that like you like, did you really listen to what I was saying? Because, like, am I wrong? Like, or is this just, like, you're going to, like, unwaveringly, like, like, defend your friend? Now, sometimes I might be wrong, probably, but also probably not, right? Like, probably never, who knows for sure? No, I'm just kidding. I am, like, usually not wrong, though. I'm just going to say that. They're going to probably clip that one, too. I like the little, like, clips that people will take to take me down. All of that's a game, though. Like, all of that I can handle. It's when people start trying to, like, target my real life and my family, where I'm like, now this is getting weird and off limits. Now this is starting to put me in a defensive mode where I feel like I need to defend myself. You understand? And I'm now getting, like, and I'm like, I have children. This is, like, Oh, you guys are just gassing me up at this point. I love you guys. Thank you, staring into the void. I'll take it though. Everybody's like, you're great. And I'm like, these are all lies. No, but I do appreciate you guys. I'm not, listen, I'm really nothing special. And that's why I like also try to like, some people get so mad at me. I'm like, you guys act like I'm this like real important, like, bro, nobody's paying attention to me. You know what I mean? And like, not in any like significant way where I'm not like my opinions are not like ending anybody's career. That much like I can guarantee, And it's like some people are like so threatened by me. I'm like, bro, nobody takes me seriously. Like, look at me. Everybody's like, you're ghetto and you're white trash and you're like, not ever like. And when I say everybody, of course not. A lot of people speak a lot of life into me, and a lot of people are really kind to me and uplift me and challenge me and actually listen to me and like show that they listen to me. But I'm like, there's also like a cadre of people who are just like committed to misunderstanding you and like just don't like you for whatever reason. You're like not 100% sure because it doesn't seem like they know for sure, but they just sure one thing they know is they don't like a slightly twisted female. And you're like, okay, like that's fine. Just like fuck off and do it over there because like, bro, like I don't go away, you know? I it gets personal for some people. It's like weird. Um, yeah, Turfy Gamer, thank you. First time chatter, glad to have you back. Your channel helped develop my peak tantrum. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm gonna try to not sit there and tell myself that it's like everybody's just trying to be nice. But I don't know. So I've been wanting to come back. I can say that if I do come back, I'm not the same person. And I don't know what I mean by that. I'm not saying that I'm like now this like kumbaya like Buddha and I'm gonna be like nice all the time. No, like I'm a little bit mean. I know that. You know, I'm a little bit mean, but I'm not vicious, right? Now, I mean, listen, I can be vicious if I have to be, but I'm not like mean for the sake of like just hurting people. You know, I'm just tired and I'm a little bit cranky. And then I also feel like I like hate bullshit when I see it. You know what I mean? And like I feel like a need to call stuff out. You know. So that'll probably always be there to some extent. But I think if I do come back, I'm not going to be the same person in some way. And that scares me a little bit because I don't know like oh god. I don't even know. I don't even know what my voice is going to be like now that like I don't now that I've like gone through this. It changed. I Guys, I know that there's some of you out there, and I know for a fact, of course there are a lot of you, most of you, all of you out there who have gone through like a really serious loss, right? And there's some actually, for me, I never really went through serious losses like as a kid. I we had a child. Oh God, Peter Moore's back. We had a young child in our community who passed away. I think when he was like 6 or 7, and like that really shook us all, But I didn't know him like I didn't really know him personally. I may have like I don't think I've ever seen him. He just lived. Parents were like elderly when they passed away. So it was kind of like no one like didn't see that coming. And like I wasn't. Oh, I do miss my grandma. But like other than that, like I never like, you hear about people who like lost their mom or like their best friend or like their sister, like you know what I mean? Some like horrible thing. I never really had that. I never even really had like even the kids who died in high school weren't really my friends. It was always like kids that like I knew kind of through other people. And I was hurt and sad, but I'm not sitting there like having difficulty eating, and having difficulty like cleaning my like self and like maintaining my hygiene because I'm so hurt over this, right? I feel like actually I've had like the opposite issue with since Daryl passed. I've been like very into like self-care now and just taking care of myself and being gentle on myself and like just moving at a pace that's compassionate, to me and to other people, and trying not to rush because I think I was rushing a lot too before. Sweet Sea Monster says, it's okay, maybe you aren't the same person, but change and transformation is good. You have gone through a tower moment. I like that. And a spiritual death of your own. Yes. Yes. But now you're entering the rebirth cycle. Oh. I think like seeing things in cycles and seasons is such a powerful way to like to conceptualize like what we go through, and it allows and holds space for like joy and grief to exist in the same thing, right? Sometimes in the same moments. Like you saw even me in this video, I've cycled between like sorrow and like laughter and love and, concern. And it's, when you accept that like you can be like joyful and bereaved and a lot of different things at once. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. All right, it's like what, like 1:30. All right, I love you guys. This was great. Thanks. I'm nervous. What if I wake up and I'm gonna be like, oh, what the fuck was that? But I won't, because I trust myself. At the end of the day, oh wait, hold on. At the end of the day, I trust myself and I trust my voice, and I know my story, and I trust myself to tell my story. Oh, and I miss my friend. And I did want to take a moment to be able to just talk about how I felt about him. I didn't want to just jump back in. It is not right for me to just jump back into just talking about this stuff without talking about him. I don't want to pretend like he didn't exist. So everybody's just gonna have to excuse me. And I know like some people have like I say, oh God, I have some stories I'll tell you guys. It's getting late, but I won't. But yeah, I carry him now. Like oh God, I carry him now, and it's like whether it's annoying or not, that's probably gonna be like a thing. I'm so tired. All right, it's supposed to snow tomorrow. I love you guys. This was great. Thanks for having me back. I'm very sad. I don't know if I'll be back again anytime soon. I don't really know what the fuck I'm gonna do. This was like, this is something that like I set my mind to. I knew I wanted to do it, and I just said I'll know when the right moment is. And then I was like, tonight, I'll just do it tonight. We'll just do it tonight, and that'll be fine. That's what we do. Well, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Signing off. Thanks for everything. Thanks for everything. To those of you who like sat with me in this journey as I tried to develop my thoughts and learn about this topic and understand it better, and you guys would correct me when I needed to be corrected, or get me information, or engage me and challenge me, or tell me where to go and tell me what to look at. You guys were my teachers. You guys guided me through this channel. The reason why I was able to navigate through hundreds of hours of live streams is because I had you guys right there next to me in this chat, guiding me and showing me and helping me and working with me. You're not fighting with me. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there was such an ecosystem here. I didn't do this alone. I'm just like the performer. I'm like the puppet one. You know what I mean? And I'm like reading stuff that you guys are talking about and, adding my own stuff. But I really, even if this is the last video that I ever do, if this is the last time I ever see you guys, and I'm not saying that that's true, and it's probably not. But like if it were, and when that, eventually that will come, right? One day it'll be the last time that I ever like talk to anybody on this. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys being a part of this with me. And it's like so dumb because it's like not that big of a deal. It's like this little like thing that we built, but it is a big deal because you guys were a part of it. Other people, other adults, other, citizens of the world from like really across the world, like came together and sat with me like, night after night, afternoon after afternoon, like morning after morning, whichever time of day we would get on and like go through different topics with me. And it was this really cool thing that like would not have been possible 100 years ago. Like that's pretty cool, And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Some of you guys have been really, really cool. Some of you guys have been like annoying as fuck. But like that's fine too. I even like the people who like challenge me or like are like mean to me. Cause sometimes you like, I'm like, yeah, there we go. There's like a little bit of spice. Like, let's go, Either way. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for the people who sent me like monetary support and like helped me through the journey of actually like getting out and doing the boots on the ground sort of work. And putting out the protests that we put out and put together. Guys, you guys were like the wind beneath my wings and all of that. You were. Um, so thank you. You know, and thank you guys. Um, oh man. I really appreciate all of this stuff. I hope you guys had a really happy holiday. It's 2025. Holy fucking shit, that's insane. And I don't know what's next, but I'm looking forward to whatever's next. So, all right, guys, I'm so tired. I'll talk to you later. Good night and goodbye, and I'll see you next time.